My name is Darsha Jackson, and I'm doing my presentation on my business called Uniquely Me Toys Incorporated. Now, with this company, it's basically going to be a toy company that is geared towards making children and individuals feel better about themselves. What's the problem? Nowadays, you'll find toy companies that aren't serving a true purpose. Now, of course, dolls have started to evolve where you're able to see different ethnicities in dolls and things of that nature, but what purpose are they filling other than making sure that there are more dolls that actually look like the kids? I want to take it a step farther. So basically, what I'm trying to do is going to make a company that reaches out to kids not only with different skin colors, but I also want to make sure I hit the different shapes, different sizes, freckles, different skin tones, different kinds of teeth, eyes being closer or farther apart, just different things that aren't really addressed, even having things like albino dolls, basically hitting every gap that these doll companies currently are not fulfilling. Now, what's going to make mine just a little bit different from any other brand is that mine is going to be basically a brand based on making kids feel better about themselves, basically almost as an anti-bullying campaign versus just having a line that comes out that is geared towards this one specific thing. My entire company is going to be revolved around this. The core values of my company, of course, is going to be redefining what beauty looks like. My company, my company has come up with a solution to basically getting this solved. What we plan on doing is help children and young adults find confidence within themselves to stand out from the crowd. Me being the CEO of the company, I will of course make sure that this stays the primary focus of the company. Now, to do this, I do want to sell dolls, books, and of course gradually get to applications and hopefully even be able to reach out and make this into a TV series. Of course, that'll be down the line, but that is something I would potentially be interested in doing. Basically, by bringing in revenue, I plan on selling dolls and books along with our application and doing seminars at different schools, basically making children aware of the product and getting them kind of amped about what it is that we're doing. As far as with the application and with it bringing in revenue, I do want to have the app to be a free download, but once you get to a certain point, I do want to make it where you're able or having to pay for certain things. So I want to get initially it's going to be free to draw everyone in, but as you go along, I want everyone to get more excited and just say, hey, I really have to buy this to get to this level or to be able to access certain things in this application. On the app, I want to make it where you're able to write in journals. I want to make it where you have games and you're able to reach out to other students to kind of relate on different levels of what you may be going through where you feel like you can't speak to your parents or speak to other adults about, what's happening in school. My target market. I am looking to reach out to for dolls in the books for ages 3 to 6. I say this because at this age range, this is when you're learning the most. This is when you're taking in the most information, and it's easier to kind of influence the way you're thinking versus trying to reach out to you when you're older and try to change completely how you think. If you start at a younger age, you're able to influence them more with, different things and thoughts. With that being said, this is the age range you're still playing with dolls. With the time and the era changing, of course, I understand that more kids are not gravitating towards dolls. They're gravitating more towards the applications, and that's why I'm targeting ages 7 to 10 for the apps, on the phones, on the computers, and things like that, because I know that with kids, cell phones are becoming something that kids younger and younger are starting to get. If I can target this age range, most of these kids they have cell phones nowadays, so they're able to download these apps, play these apps, and they're still able to learn and get the lesson that I'm trying to teach through the toys, and the books, of course. Along with that, with you being in that age range of 7 to 10, this is right before you get into your teen years. So really, once you hit the teen years, bullying is taken to a whole nother level. So if we're able to eliminate some of this happening at younger ages, I'm having the hopes that it will trickle down and eliminate some of the bullying that happens when you're older. You have to understand it at a younger age in order to really fully understand and grasp the concept that bullying is wrong. Looking at people differently is wrong, and some people don't get taught that in their homes. So my company wants to be able to teach you through a fun way where you're not, having to sit there and go over different facts, 24/7. You're able to actually take everything in, and you're able to understand in a different way. My competition, of course, my main competition would be American Girl dolls. American Girl dolls are basically going to be the same kind of dolls that I'm trying to sell. Not exactly the same. They have their, differences, but that is the same type of doll I'm trying to sell. They also sell books along with some of their dolls, but the difference between their books and dolls are historical. They focus on things that have happened in history. They focus on fact. Along with that, also Barbie. Barbie will never is always going to be one of those top competitors when it comes to the doll market. Still considered one of the top brands of toys out there in the world. And I also say Bratz dolls are, just because mainly they still have a very diverse range of dolls that you can purchase and buy. Although they're not as big as Barbie and American Girl, Bratz are still a top contender. With my company, the advantage that we personally would have is that holistically, my brand revolves around making people feel better about themselves and to eliminate bullying in the process. Now, of course, we plan on having, a wide variety of dolls. Unlike my company, these other brands, they're diverse. You might find sometimes they like Barbie, even I believe, I want to say Bratz, they have these different lines where the dolls shapes are different and things like that. They look different, but again, that's a line. I'm trying to create a brand. I'm trying to create something completely different. I want all dolls to look different so you can see that everyone doesn't look the same. It's just not a in the season kind of ordeal. My marketing strategy. Now, of course, with it being the 21st century, social media is huge. So, of course, that will be my main avenue. Social media, doing my seminars, and then through web celebrities and ads mainly online. With the web celebrities, of course, that's going to be the celebrities that are considered D-list. You have people that are famous on Instagram, people that are famous on Facebook, Snapchat, things like that. Those are the main people that I would go through just to make sure we can reach out to everyone. Along with that, with the seminars, with me going to speaking at these different schools and things like that, I'm going to be able to reach out to some of the parents and even some of the kids so they are aware that there is a toy that you can refer to, or even there is an application you can refer to if you have no one else there in your corner for you. In order to get these customers to return back to me, of course, customer feedback is going to be highlighted. It is a must, and it is very important for me to make sure the customers are aware that their opinions matter. They matter, and I want to make sure that if they have a problem or if they feel like they're missing anything, that they feel like they can actually address us. They can come to us, and I have a team that is there that is able to respond back to them. Now, initially, my sales target is going to be roughly $200. Now, this is not by far going to make me break even from what I'm going to have to spend, but I feel like that will be a great start for my first month and a half, 2 months. And also, I plan on having a marketing budget to start at like $5,000. In my personal opinion, $5,000 is not going to get you really far, but it's a great step in the right direction as far as what I'm trying to do. Now here you can actually get a chance to see the startup cost. I broke down with land. Of course, I'm gonna be in the basement, so I'm not gonna pay anything additional for land. But for the building, I did put the rent there. Have the labor, the furniture, the equipment, the startup inventory, advertising and promotion, organizational expenses, and other startup expenses. And collectively, with everything calculated, we're looking at $219,580,000 to actually get it started. Now, I also calculated this, and I'm not going to just make that money back in a year span. This, how I plan everything out, I'm probably not going to start seeing the benefits of this until about 2.5 years to 3 years. But to me, it's worth the investment. But this is everything pretty much broken down as far as how I can see me breaking my money up to spend everything. Now, of course, a brief summary of my cost of the sum. That was a brief summary of the cost of my startup. Now, to raise this capital, of course, that was a lot of money. I plan on, of course, reaching out to investors, trying to get some loans, even investing my own money by doing bootstrapping as well. Basically, making sure maybe I can pay as I'm going. I can buy certain things here and there with the money I have on me. If I have partners, which I do plan on getting two more partners involved, I just cannot, I haven't found, I'm not going to say I cannot, but I have not found those strong partners that I need in order to make sure we can see this plan all the way through. Maybe those partners will come on as bootstrappers as well. Maybe they don't mind, investing some of their own money so they can see the returns from their money surely to come. Even if I can find grants of course would be a lot better, just because this is going to be geared towards a campaign of anti-bullying. So maybe there is some people that would be interested in funding a grant for me, or even buying things off of credit. Now, I personally wouldn't want to buy a lot of different things off credit, but what I have to buy at that point in time, I will and wouldn't mind buying or spending the credit money. Now, along with this is going to be, of course, my profit and loss projection. Just briefly, everything put out on the paper as far as what I could project myself spending on a monthly basis. And it's broken down basically into the sales revenue, cost of sales, and overhead. Um, and just to kind of look at everything, you can kind of see how those numbers kind of go up and go down, and you can kind of see exactly how I plan on bringing money in, how money plans on being spent, things to that nature, and it's just broken down in that way. I did calculate the dolls and the books together and having seminars, and then I did the dolls and the books separate because I still plan on being able to sell those two separately as well, because with every book I do want it to be a series, and I want you to be interested in really reading the books along with the doll. And with my manufacturer, of course, it's going to be a contract that we're on, so I want their money to come off the top because they're one of the main key ingredients to this business's success. So their money needs to come out again off the top along with the directive labor, because those are my workers. I need to make sure that they're getting paid. They're also very important to, everything kind of successfully happening. Everything else kind of breaks down into legal issues, marketing, rent, salary, utilities, things like that. These are also things that I can't really, the numbers kind of stay in the same ballpark because those are, I can pretty much control those a little bit more as far as rent, as long as I'm not moving to a bigger space at that time. Marketing, I can keep it at a set budget until we make enough money to, create a bigger market. Even legal fees, I need and I want someone on my team that I know for a fact I don't have to fluctuate their pay. They're going to be at a set pay and they're going to be content with that for the time being. And even with utilities do tend to fluctuate a little bit, but I plan on trying to keep it as maintained as I possibly can. Now, this is basically the continuing of that profit and loss. You can kind of see how I'm pretty much in the red. And again, I do not predict myself making my return, or making money back, at least breaking even, until about a year and a half to 2 years. I don't project myself making money until roughly about 3 years to come. And these are some of my resources used throughout the slide. But I do also want to take the time just to thank you guys for taking a moment just to, see where I am thus far with my business and see the progress that I have made, starting from where I did start up with just literally a rough idea and working my way up to a point of saying, hey, I think I'm on to something here, even though it's not completely started up, even though it's not completely finished yet. I can see myself actually thinking in more of a business mindset versus how I started off. So I'm very appreciative of everything I've learned over this time span. And again, just thank you for your time.